Man, my hair is looking ratty and long. I apologize. Welcome to another edition, another Friday, another quizzing in quarantine, the fourth, or the third, I should say, of the month, third of four. It's our April, April showers edition. Though it's not raining right now. It's been a rainy week here in Toronto. Welcome, thank you everybody for tuning in, and it's good to see so many familiar names and avatars in the chat. My name is Mackay. We've been doing this now for going on 13 months off and on. A night of virtual trivia hosted from my house in Toronto, and you joining from wherever you find yourself on this Friday evening. Hopefully staying safe and distant and all the things. Here's a bit of good news if you want to know. I was able to book a vaccine this afternoon. Next Wednesday, I'm going to get my shot. Selfie to come. This seems to be the required evidence of vaccine proof. So that's a good thing. And I hope that everyone else who's eligible is able to get one. I know not everybody is eligible in this province. For the record, I'm too young to qualify for AstraZeneca, but I do live in what's been designated a hotspot, and there's a community pop-up that I was able to get a spot in. So that is a nice bit of good news after a week of a lot of bad news, it felt like. Anyway, we won't talk too much about the pandemic tonight because that is not what we focus on. Instead, we focus on useless knowledge that you've gathered over the years and you can now put to use to win free beer. And that is thanks to our friends at Steam Whistle. They have come on board this month again. They've been rock solid as a sponsor and a friend of this night, and helped us raise incredible amounts of money for charity. And they've also given away a lot of free beer over the last number of months, and they will continue to do that tonight. In fact, if you come in first, second, or second last, you will be getting sent to your house a voucher for a free 12-pack of Steam Whistle. Also tonight, there's an opportunity to win in a scavenger hunt challenge. So, and I'll mention this again a little later on. Write down this email address, drinkthinkto@gmail.com. DRINKTHINKTO@gmail.com. You'll need that address if you want to enter the scavenger hunt challenge, which comes again with a 12-pack of Steam Whistle. I will share the link, Jennifer, to the score sheet in just a second. Thank you for the reminder. Abdullah, AstraZeneca has been recommended by NACI, our federal health advisory board. However, it is not yet available to Ontarians under 40. The Ontario government has said they're going to hold back on allowing that until the supply increases. Anyway, that is that. I think those are the ground rules. I'm going to share the Google score sheet. That is what you'll need tonight in order to enter to win prizes in order to qualify. Let me see here. I got to make some adjustments to last week's. I did a private trivia event that this is still formatted for, so let me save this. Erase these results. All right. All right, we already got 100 people watching, which is fantastic for a rather beautiful Friday. Score sheet is now in the link. I will pin that to the top. All right, I think that is all that we need to do in order to get started. Hope you have your beverage of choice, whether it be alcoholic or not. Not that it's not mandatory, but it certainly helps on a Friday night alleviate some of the pain of the last 5 days and helps us focus on the task at hand, which again is answering useless knowledge. 6 rounds of trivia, each roughly worth a single point. Each question worth a single point, each round roughly worth 10. I will repeat the questions twice and once at the end of the round unless otherwise noted. We will start tonight with things I think you should know, 10 random knowledge trivia questions. They are eclectic in nature, but I will say that tonight is there's a subtle theme to the evening in that, believe it or not, the Oscars are happening on Sunday. It kind of crept up on us because there haven't been a ton of movies released this past year, but there's a bit of an Oscar theme tonight, just subtly and slightly. So we will start with that in mind. Things I think you should know. Here we go. Question 1, starting with a cinematic theme question. Of the 4 wives that actor and singer Frank Sinatra had during his lifetime, 2 of them were actresses. Can you name one? Name one of the 2 actresses who were married to Frank Sinatra at some point in his life. He had 4 wives, 2 of them were actresses. Again, question number 1. Of the 4 wives Frank Sinatra had during his lifetime, 2 of them were actresses. Can you name one of them? And you know what? Why not? We'll do this early, maybe not often, but I'll give a bonus point if you could name both of the actresses who Frank Sinatra was married to at some point in his life. Question number 2. Got to go back in time 5 years now to the year 2016. And this relates to the news. Here's the question. The most Googled "what is" query in 2016 ended with this 6-letter term. What is blank? And it was a 6-letter term. The year was 2016. Can you remember? This is worldwide. In English, the most Googled query of 2016. Kevin, great question. Yes, the score sheet is the same every week, but I believe I changed. I would try to edit that. As I mentioned off the top, I did a private trivia event this week. So if you refresh the score sheet, it should now no longer say "Happy Birthday, Eric Shurkin." Eric Shurkin's wife surprised him with a trivia night for his birthday. So happy belated, Eric Shurkin. Again, question number 2, relating to the news cycle. The most Googled "what is" query of 2016 ended with this 6-letter term. Here's question number 3. Born in Buenos Aires, Argentina on December 17th, 1936, Jorge Bergoglio is better known by what name? Question number 3. Born in Buenos Aires, Argentina on December 17, 1936, Jorge Bergoglio, Bergoglio, is better known by what name? Question number 4. What famous piece of fictional literature takes place exclusively on June 16th, 1904? Question number 4, again from the world of literature. What famous piece of fictional literature takes place exclusively on June 16th, 1904? Question number 5, a history question. Of all the armed conflicts that the United States has been involved with, this is the one that resulted in the greatest number of American casualties. When I say casualties, I'm referring to fatalities. Of all the different conflicts since the founding of the nation, I should say, I guess, in 1776, this was the conflict that resulted in the greatest number of American fatalities. A bit of a morbid question, but for history buffs, perhaps an interesting one. Logan, fatalities, specifically. Yes, you're right. Fair enough, different outcomes. But yeah, fatalities. Question number 6, a little brighter and lighter in tone. Number 6, when directly translated from its native Italian, the name for this type of pasta literally means cooking pot. That's a great question, David. Yes, we're talking about international conflicts. I should have clarified that. Again, question number 6. When directly translated from its native Italian, the name for this type of pasta literally means cooking pot. Question number 7, a geography-based question. The Danube runs through 4 different European capital cities. Name 2 of those capitals. No bonus points up for grabs here, just simply name 2. The Danube runs through 4 different European capital cities. Name 2 of those capitals. Question number 8 is a question from the news cycle from the last 7 days. It's the Know Your News question. Back-to-back sports questions last week and this week in the Know Your News category. The question this week, Patrick Marleau set a record for most NHL games played by a single player. Whose record did he break? Again, question number 8. This week, Patrick Marleau set a record for most NHL games played by a single player. You need to know whose longstanding record he broke. Question number 9, a music question. Whose debut album, released in the year 2010, was entitled Pink Friday? Shergan, I see your comment. You've now been disqualified, as has your team. We do not accept dad jokes in the chat. Again, question number 9. Whose debut album, released back in 2010, 11 years ago now, was entitled Pink Friday? And finally, number 10, this is somewhat Toronto-centric. Don't come at me. There's a lot of people on this feed from Toronto. I recognize a lot from elsewhere as well. But it is a geography question using Toronto as the anchor. Question number 10. Name the world city with a population over 1 million that is furthest from Toronto as the crow flies. Basically, the biggest city furthest from Toronto. This is a bit of a genius point and probably a guess for most people. You have to know city sizes and distance. But again, question number 10, name the world city with a population of over 1 million that is furthest from Toronto. Let's imagine that the crow flies as straight as possible to this foreign destination. All right. Those are the 10 questions that make up round number 1. I will repeat each question one more time. I'll fly through them, starting with question number 1. Here it is. Of the 4 wives that Frank Sinatra had during his life, 2 of them were actresses. Name one of those actresses. If you name both, you'll get a bonus point. Question number 2. Relating to the news, the most Googled "what is" query in 2016 ended with this 6-letter term, meaning what is blank 6-letter word. Question number 3. Born in Buenos Aires, Argentina on December 17th, 1936, Jorge Bergoglio is better known by what name? I've said this person's name 3 times now and pronounced it differently each time, and I'm willing to bet each time was incorrect. Question number 4. What famous piece of fictional literature takes place exclusively on June 16, 1904? Question number 5. Of all the foreign armed conflicts that the United States has been involved with, this is the one that resulted in the greatest number of American fatalities. See how that question evolves after a couple asks? Question number 6. When directly translated from its native Italian, the name for this type of pasta literally means cooking pot. Question number 7. The Danube runs through 4 different European capital cities. Name 2 of them. No bonus points on the table for this question. Question number 8. This week, Patrick Marleau set a record for most NHL games played by a single player. Whose record did he break? Question number 9. Whose debut album, released back in 2010, was entitled Pink Friday? And finally, number 10. Name the world city with a population over 1 million that is furthest away from Toronto. All right, those are the questions that make up round number 1. Here is the challenge this week for round number 2 is the 10. That's the name of the category. If you're new, every week I give a random list of things that you have to write down. Last week was smallest countries in Europe, I believe. You had to list 10 of the 15 of those, or 10 of the 12 of those, I think. Tonight, it's a little different tone and tenor. As I mentioned, the Oscars are happening this coming Sunday. And without checking Google or any other website, you need to remember, this is harder than it sounds, the 10 most recent films to win Best Picture. And just so we're clear, the Oscars happening on Sunday are awarding films. The film that wins on Sunday will win the Oscar for Best Picture in 2020. So these are the films that won in 2010 through to 2019, the most recent having been awarded last February. You're going to have, I'm going to say 7 minutes to complete this round tonight. Starting now. Just over 5 minutes left in this round to name the 10 most recent Best Picture Oscar winners while I go get another steam whistle. Question about when, so these films were released, essentially in the calendar year prior to the year they were awarded. So we are giving out on Sunday, for instance, it's the air date of the Oscars is April 25th, 2021, but all the films were released in 2020. So this is the 2020 Oscars, even though they're occurring in 2021. So you need to know the Best Picture winners from 2010 to 2019. And there's no margin of error here. We're not yet. There's only 10 possible answers. Just over 2 minutes left in this round. All right, that is time. Time to put down your phones, your writing utensils, your devices, whatever. No more opportunities to answer questions in the 10. Instead, what we're going to do is go back in time and take up the answers from rounds 1 and rounds 2. Starting with questions in round 1. Each of these, again, as I mentioned, were the single point. Starting with question number 1. Frank Sinatra had 4 wives in his life. 2 of them were actresses. They were, from 1951 to 1957, Ava Gardner, and from 1966 to 1968, Mia Farrow. If you got one of those names, you get a single point. If you got both, you'll get a bonus for a total of 2 points. Ava Gardner, Mia Farrow. Question number 2. Relating to the news cycle, the most Googled "what is blank" query in 2016 ended with what 6-letter term? That term, portmanteau of 2 words, Britain and exit, Brexit. Brexit. What is Brexit was the most Googled query in 2016 worldwide. Brexit. Number 3, born in Buenos Aires, Jorge Bergoglio, better known by what name? As is customary, he gave up his birth name when he became Pope. Pope Francis, better known as. Number 4, the famous piece of fictional literature that takes place on one single day back in 1904 was written by James Joyce. The book was Ulysses. Of all the foreign armed conflicts that the United States has been involved in its 200 and some odd year history is the Second World War. And believe it or not, I was just crunching some quick numbers. I think I'm correct on this. COVID, and I promised I wouldn't bring up pandemic again, but COVID has now taken more of American lives than World War II, World War I, and the Vietnam War combined. A lot of people would take issue with the ages of those lost in those wars. Is difficult to compare to the ages of those who have died from COVID, but still, it brings into focus that COVID number a bit. Though, if we were talking conflict altogether, the American Civil War took the lives of 620,000 Americans back between 1861 and 1865. That's unbelievable to think that much death happened in 4 years in the 1800s. Moving on to question number 6. The question was, directly translated from its native Italian, what pasta means cooking pot? You think about how you cook this, and you might have gotten it, lasagna. Lasagna. Number 7, there are 4 possible answers to this question. You only need to know 2 of them. Capital cities that the Danube runs through. Those cities, Vienna, Bratislava, Budapest, and Belgrade. Vienna, Bratislava, Budapest, Belgrade. Slovenia, right, is Bratislava. Budapest, Hungary, Belgrade, Serbia, and Vienna, Austria. Question number 8. Patrick Marleau broke whose record when he became the NHLer with the most games under his belt? He broke the long-standing record of Mr. Hockey, Gordie Howe. Gordie Howe is the correct answer. Question number 9. The debut album released in 2010 called Pink Friday belonged to Nicki Minaj. And finally, name the world. This is an interesting one, and it was a real stab in the dark. The world city with a population of over 1 million that is furthest from Toronto. If you're thinking Australia, you're very warm, but you need to know which city. It's probably the last city you'd think of in this category, obviously, because it's the furthest big small city. Perth, Australia is correct. Be proud of yourself if you named any city in Australia, I guess, but if you named Perth, you're correct. Slovakia, right, is Bratislava, not Slovenia. I'm sorry. All right, moving on to the 10. You were asked to name the 10 most recent films to have won the Best Picture Oscar. We'll start in reverse chronological order with the most recent film first. The 2019 Oscar awarded just last year, Parasite. In 2018, the Oscar went to Green Book. 2017, The Shape of Water. 2016, La La Land. I'm sorry, Moonlight. Moonlight was 2016. 2015, Spotlight. Spotlight was in 2015. In 2014, Birdman, or The Unexpected Virtue of Ignorance. But you don't need that. I'm going to give it the point. I'm glad people appreciate my little joke there. I'm going to give you the point, even if you just said Birdman, or if you want to be super cocky and write the whole Birdman, or you will still get the point. The film in 2013 that won was 12 Years a Slave. Prior to that, in 2012, Argo. In 2011, The Artist. And the last item on this list, 2010, it won the Oscar a decade ago now, The King's Speech. Again, movies in the last 10 years, Parasite, Green Book, The Shape of Water, Moonlight, Spotlight, Birdman, 12 Years a Slave, Argo, The Artist, and The King's Speech. All right, now, one person on your team you should appoint to click that link that I pinned to the top of this chat, which is our score sheet. And please enter your email, your team name, and your scores from rounds 1 and rounds 2. We'll give you a couple minutes to do that. And while someone on your team does that, I will, one last time, or at least for the last night, I will not do this next week, just tonight, I will remind you, we're all at home right now. We're all drinking cheaper beer and alcohol than we probably would if we were out at a bar. If you haven't done this yet, and many of you have, and many of you have been incredibly generous, but if you have some cash lying around and you haven't yet done this coming Thursday, I'm raising money for an organization here in Toronto called Covenant House. It's a youth homeless shelter. They are doing incredible work during the pandemic. I ask you, just take the cost that you would normally spend on a drink at a bar that you're not able to drink or buy right now. And please, if you have some cash kicking around, I will share this link right now and donate if you can. Oh wait, that's the wrong link. Hold on. Can I delete it? There we go. It's a really great organization. I'm proud this year to be on the board, or not, on the organizing committee rather, of this really great event. I just am close to my goal, which I've had to reset a couple times because people have been so generous. But it's happening this Thursday. I'll be sleeping outside. All the money goes to supporting the programs at Covenant House. And $10, $15, whatever you can afford makes a huge difference. And it means a lot to me. And I know to the people who benefit from Covenant House. My brother's doing it as well, along with Ian Matthews, who's a regular quizzing and quarantiner participant. So some good people behind this, and your help means a lot. All right, and I won't do this plug next week, I promise. It'll be behind us. Next week's a freebie. All right, let me check our scores coming in. 48 teams already registered. Holy, it's a busy night. Nice to see some very familiar faces and names popping up on the list. Now's the time if you want to grab a drink, refill your steam whistles if you're so inclined. Well, I welcome all 48 teams to the round tonight. Those 48 teams are We Don't Know Jack, Big Brian Academy, Using Our Sick Days. You're lucky to have those, hopefully, in the coming days. All Ontarians will. Quarantine, Living Covita Loca, Tears for Buckabeers, YTV's Weird on Wheels, Penny and the Jets, Covideo Difference on Quinpool. Wow, that is a great reference. I've not thought of Video Difference on Quinpool in a long time, and that was an amazing video store. I have a feeling it's now out of business. If anyone spent any time in Halifax, you probably know Video Difference. D's Nuts, Steam Name, Trivia Lassies The Dog, Coves Clan, one of my favorites from last week, they're back, Shit's Bleak, Kazai Stinks, Quizstein, or the Moderna, I should know this word, Prometheus. Prometheus? I'm gonna have to fact check that pronunciation. Arctic Circle Jerks, Pose the Clarks, 469 Always, The Atlantic Bubble Has Popped, Monocle Whores, Bazooper Bunch, You're a Quizzard Harry, Cabin Fever Fight Club, Bats Out of Hell, Don't You Know That Tears Are Not Enough, Doug? Oh My God, They Were Roommates, A Case of the Mondays, The Filbos, Robert Cajun, CrustaceanHub.com, Tit Soup for the Quarantine Soul, the COVID-69 Super League, Oligarchs Welcome, Jackie Channing Tatum, Cotton Balls, Rainbow Super Friends, Third Wave Badgers, Thigh Masters of the Universe, 80s Babies, Cream Gang, Cry-yi-yi-yi-yin over Zoom, The Vaccine Hunters, Birdman, or the Unexpected Virtue of Quiznorance. I think I got COVID in Liechtenstein. I think I'll get the vaccine in Toronto. That is a deep cut. Well done. I didn't say I got it in Liechtenstein. I said I had it in Liechtenstein. Essential Quizzers Only, A Tribe Called Questions, Portal Pilgrims, Brooklyn Bikini Babes, Nick Cage and Ginger Spice. That is a weird video I bet you could Google on the internet. Big Fact Hunt, Harry Styles Fishnets, Second Last, Werewolf Bar Mitzvah 2, no subtitle necessary. And finally, We Don't Know Jack or This Other We Don't Know Jack. Those are the 56 teams that have registered tonight to compete in Quizzing in Quarantine. Congratulations to everybody who has just shown up. That alone should earn you a prize. But it doesn't. Instead, it's first, second, and second last that will be getting prizes. In case you're wondering, the average score, wow, round one was tough. I didn't think it was as tough as it was when I wrote the questions, but based on the scores, it looks tough. Wow, shit, I apologize now. Average score was 4. Holy, I apologize. that was not intentional. Let's see how people did on the on round 2. A bit better, it looks like. On round 2, the movie round, the average score was 6. All right. I thought I wrote 2 easy questions tonight. I promise it gets a little bit easier, I think, as the evening goes on. Maybe not right away, though, because it's another round of things I think you should know. 10 more random knowledge trivia questions. Each question worth a single point. And as I mentioned, at some point in this round, I'm going to be doing our scavenger hunt. So get ready with that email address. You won't know what it is until, you won't know the question until I reveal it, but drinkthinkto@gmail.com if you want to be standing by for the scavenger hunt. All right, here we go. Things I think you should know. Question number 1, round 2, or round 3 actually. In film, who has played characters named John Smith, Aldo Raine, Tyler Durden, and Rusty Ryan? One performer has played roles with all of those character names, and you need to know the name of that performer. Here it is again, that list. In film, who has played characters named John Smith, Aldo Raine, Tyler Durden, and Rusty Ryan? Question number 2 from the world of video games. What is the name of Sonic the Hedgehog's arch enemy? Question number 2. What is the name of Sonic the Hedgehog's arch enemy? Question number 3. The unrest in which Asian country in the year 2007 was referred to as the Saffron Revolution? Saffron, S-A-F-R-A-N. The unrest in which Asian country in 2007 was called, quote, the Saffron Revolution? Question number 4. Whose 2011 autobiography is entitled Bossy Pants? Question number 4 again. Whose 2011 autobiography is entitled Bossy Pants? Question number 5. Name the country that on this day, April 23rd, 1993, voted in a referendum to seek independence from Ethiopia. I guess the outcome of the referendum is clear since I'm saying name the country. But do that. Name the country that on this day in 1993 voted in a referendum to seek independence from Ethiopia. Also an on this day question, number 6. Born on April 23rd, 1928, name the only Oscar-winning performer to have a popular beverage named after them. Born on April 23rd, 1928, named the only Oscar-winning performer to have a popular beverage named after them. This is a popular beverage. Maybe there's some bar somewhere that has a Cuba Gooding Jr. cocktail, but I'm not getting in the weeds on this. This is a very rather common beverage. Question number 7. President Salvador Allende was killed in a 1973 coup d'etat in what country? Again, question number 7. President Salvador Allende was killed in a 1973 coup in what country? Allende spelled A-L-L-E-N-D-E. Question number 8. Name the mathematical term that is employed when an abstract object used to describe and simulate naturally occurring objects. This is maybe the genius point around, at least it would be for me, because I know shit about this category, math. Again, question number 8. Name the mathematical term that is employed when an abstract object is used to describe and simulate naturally occurring objects. Question number 9. What was the name of author A.A. Milne's only son? Question number 9. What was the name of author A.A. Milne's only son? And finally, the last question in this, the second edition of things I think you should know. Last question. Located in South America, in 2013, what nation became the first in the world to legalize cannabis for recreational use? That is good, Casey. I almost want to give you a point just for that. A.A. Milne's son was B.B. Milne. Well done. Again, the final question in the round, number 10. Located in South America, in 2013, what nation became the first in the world to legalize cannabis for recreational use? You basically have a 1 in 12 shot of getting this right because I believe there are 12 countries in South America. All right, I will go back and read the questions one more time before we move on to the next round. Question number 1. In film, who has played characters named John Smith, Aldo Raine, Tyler Durden, and Rusty Ryan? Question number 2. What is the name of Sonic the Hedgehog's arch enemy? Question number 3. The unrest in which Asian country in 2007 was called the Saffron Revolution? Question number 4. Whose 2011 autobiography is entitled Bossy Pants? Number 5, name the country that on this day in 1993 voted in a referendum to seek independence from Ethiopia. Number 6, born on April 23rd, 1928, name the only Oscar-winning performer to have a popular beverage named after them. Question number 7. President Salvador Allende was killed in a 1973 coup d'etat in what country? Number 8, name the mathematical term that is employed when an abstract object is used to describe and simulate naturally occurring objects. Question number 9, name the author of A.A. Milne's, what is the name of author A.A. Milne's only son? And finally, number 10, located in South America in 2013, what nation became the first in the world to legalize cannabis for recreational use? All right, that completes round number 3. Just before we move on to round number 4, as I mentioned, there is a scavenger hunt clue tonight. The address, I'm gonna write it down here, drinkthinkto@gmail.com. Yeah, that's the address you need. Well done, Jacob. No, that's no pizza. The scavenger hunt clue tonight. First person to send an email to that address with a photo of you holding up a VHS tape of an Oscar-winning film, Best Picture Oscar-winning film. This is like serious scavenger hunt. And maybe no one has it, but the challenge is out there. You'll win 12 of these babies, 12 steam whistles, if you can send to that email address a picture of you holding a VHS copy. There are 92 of them, I think. Whether they've all been released on VHS, I don't know. But good luck. Yeah, I will accept beta. That's fair. If you have a beta, if you have an Oscar-winning film on beta, that you should get like a crate or a keg of steam whistle. If you've been holding on to those babies that long. All right. Speaking of movies, I'm going to share a document in the chat right now. It's time for the Picture This round. You're going to have 8 minutes to complete the Picture This round tonight. And each of these is worth a point. Shockingly, these pictures have not won Best Picture Oscars, but they're all great because they're all released in the 80s. Tonight is an 80s film edition of Picture This. You have to name the scenes or name the films that these screen grabs come from. These are all 80s films. No, DVDs don't count. Name the 80s films. Now I'm double checking to make sure. I don't think, no, none of these did win Best Picture. Some of them might have been nominated, but as I mentioned, 8 minutes on the clock starting now. Holy shit, how many people still have VHSs? Oh my God. Wow. Oh my gosh, you guys are great.